out on your crypto.
Sorry, I forgot to hit record. Sorry. Keep going, Des. Sorry.
So yeah, being able to discharge your debt through your DeFi account gives you the opportunity to get up to 119% ROI just by knowing that every time there's a new moon, you're going to be able to discharge some debt. Every time there's a retrograde, you're going to be able to discharge some debt with being able to basically being able to again get it to 119%. So
Can you explain? Because we're talking about all kinds of debts. We're talking about our level one funders. We're talking about equity funding, but you're actually talking about a different kind of debt. Can you kind of explain it a little bit?
yep. So let's say I put $10,000 into my DeFi account. So I'm actually gonna be able to earn for supplying, and then I take out 9,000 of that, and I put it into, let's say I get a smart car and a couple of vending machines, and then those are starting to turn a profit. And again, I'm actually earning because if you actually do this on Instadap and you are on the AVAX network, you actually earn AVAX for taking out a loan against your cryptocurrency. So once I've done that, every time that a new moon comes, the market goes down, and I can discharge that amount that is going down just by swapping my collateral into AVAX or Ethereum, a volatile asset, every time that it's a new moon or a retrograde. So that is what I mean. And then I can do whatever I want with money all over again. So it's like a double up.
And Dad's going to do. I'm going to do a class on this for those of you who want to do this because it's not only for short-term cash flow, but if you've watched our real estate deep dive and our funding deep dive as it applies to real estate, there's going to be a place at which you're going to have some leftover capital while you're having to pay for the loans that you've got, while you're dealing with repair on your properties that you've purchased, et cetera. You're going to have some leftover cash, and you don't want that sitting around. Sitting around borrowed capital is worse than sitting around cash, right? Because there's interest. We know that. So somewhere in there, we can take the what's left over, that's reasonable, and put it into a system like this that's very liquid. Are you locked into this at all, Daz?
No, you can just whenever you want to put the coins back, you just take it out whenever you want to. You're not like it's not like, oh, you have to keep it in for like with a CD account, you got to keep it in for 24 months before you got to touch it type of deal. Nothing like that.
Right. So when you needed the cash, you could just put it back into, pay off the loan that you've got in Instadap and then go do whatever you got to do. So it's super liquid, a quick and easy way of making cash on the side while you're doing your big productions. Or, if you got $10,000 from our level one funding, because maybe your credit wasn't that great, fine. You could take a portion of that and work on your credit because it costs a little bit of money to do that, and then take the rest or whatever works for you with your risk management and put it into a system like this. Is it a lot of money? No, but it could be, especially if you're compounding, which we didn't take into account here. This is just straight win-win-win. You use the same amount every time. But if you compounded, these numbers all go up.
But not only that, if you put it in like Pancake Swap, you're getting like 45% on your money over there. So it depends on what next vehicle that you leverage it into as well.
Pretty dope. Anybody have questions about this for now? We're not going to jump into this in a big deep way, but if you've got overall questions, Daz is with us. Anybody excited about this? If you're excited about DeFi, put a 2 in the chat box. Some of you don't even know what DeFi stands for, and that's decentralized finance. And it's probably time for you all to start getting familiar with how non-custodial wallets and all this other stuff work. And we are at your disposal. All right, we got a couple of excited folks. You should be. This is good. There's Martha. Then we got this. We just signed up somebody for this. We got another person on the way. We have probably 2 spots left that they've allotted to us for the quarter for 2 lucky people who want to jump in. They'll probably give us more. But right now, we're also looking at some other Shopify things we were hoping to be able to talk to you about tonight, but not quite yet. We haven't been able to do our diligence there. Right now, to do Shopify, with our basically a close vendor who we know very well. You put in 50,000. So that means you need to come up with, have pulled 70,000 from our level 1 credit. A lot of folks have. The reason is that there is that, yeah, Monisha, absolutely. The reason is that we want 70,000 because the cost is 50. It's important to have some money in your bank. It doesn't have to be $5,000, but the what do you call it? The guys that do the retail transactions, what are they called? The big banks. They want to make sure that for return purposes, because you'll get some returns, you've got some money in your bank so they can pull that. And then of course, all the credit has a fee of 10%. So if you did 50 plus 5 plus 10%, it's like 62, 63.5. Plus the cash out, there is a 2.85% cash out. We just established that today, that you can do your payment from your credit cards to Shopify with a company that we've got a good relationship with at 2.85%, which is amazing because what we've seen so far is only 6%. So it's going to be, you got 70,000, you'll have some left over. You'll do this. You get guaranteed return of your investment in 8 months, not return on investment, return of investment. So that if you haven't made back $50,000 in 8 months, they cut you a check for the difference. Once you return your investment, you'll be debt free out of all the fees and everything else that you've got here on your 0% credit in about 10 months or so. And then at that 8-month period, then they do a split with you, and you can expect between $5,000 and $30,000 a month. That should actually be 5K there. $5,000 and $30,000 a month. Extremely low risk because they guarantee you the $50,000. Done. And then some of you, this is all you want to do. You might take your capital and do this, make some more on the other side while it's sitting around. Either way, these are two great ways of doing this. We've got videos on this, so I'm not going to answer any questions right now about this. The only question to answer is, how good is your credit to get this? Some of you don't have good credit, but we've got videos on our YouTube that show you how to use someone else's credit legally and for their benefit to get this. So some of you don't have good credit. I'm not going to name anybody because it's private, but let's say Dazzle has bad credit. She doesn't, but let's say she did. But Dazzle's got some good friends. Dazzle's got Felicia and Freon. Dazzle's got Martha and Markiness. They've all got 820 FICOs. Well, you know what she does? She goes to them and she goes, listen, how'd you like to make free money? And they're going to go, well, that sounds great. Listen, I'm going to have you apply in this program from Legacy Ascending. You're going to use your credit. It will be a soft pull. If you are approved for, I'm going to make it up, 50,000, then we're going to have $50,000 applied to your credit footprint, your FICO credit footprint. There'll be some inquiries, for the actual acceptance. The application, no inquiries. But once you can't take a credit line without having an actual hard inquiry. Obviously, everybody knows that. So there'll be a few inquiries, but you'll have $50,000 or more available credit. Now, I'm going to pay you 10% a year, Martha, for the use of this credit. And that's not 10% of what I use. I mean the whole amount. I'm going to pay you $5,000 a year on the $50,000. How much does this cost you? $0. Okay, cool. Then I'm going to also give you $50 a month just for taking the risk. The company will back it, so the company will personally guarantee it, and I will personally guarantee it as well. So you got a double backing. And not only that, it's going to be you. It's going to be Martha, it's going to be Manisha, it's going to be Kimberly, and it's going to be, who else did I say? Freon, I forget who I said, Felicia. I got 4 people that are going to come join my company. They're all going to get 10% plus $50 a month, and I'm going to personally back it. And, by the way, there it is, the YouTube channel right there. And I'm going to give you a percentage of the profits. How much of the profits? Well, there it is, $5,000 to $30,000 a month. How many of these are we going to do? 4. Because I got 4 friends that have great credit. And I can do this in a multi-member LLC. You're like, how do I do that? I show you how in the YouTube channel. And we walk you through it step by step if you're an affiliate. So it doesn't just have to be you. Now, what should you do in that time? Probably work on your credit so that you can join them and also participate. But you guys start seeing how this can work in a corporate setting. Put a 3 in the chat box if you're like, wow, I didn't realize. Put a 3 in the chat box. Wow, didn't realize. Mining. I'm not going to go into all the steps. We did this 2 weeks ago. But you can do mining. You're like, well, Ethereum is just proof of stake. Yeah, I know. But there's other coins out there. Like, what's the big coin you probably want to be mining right now? Thank you, T. What's the big coin you probably want to be mining, especially right about now? Put it in the chat box. What's the big coin you want to be mining right about now? I mean, there's a few good coins, obviously. But what's the one you sure want to be mining? XRP. Yeah, that's actually, I hadn't thought of that, especially right now. You're right. XRP, as crazy as it is probably better than Bitcoin at the moment. But yes, Bitcoin, not Ethereum, Carrie Mack. We cannot mine Ethereum. I'm sorry. No. Raven is another good one. Bitcoin, but good thinking, Carrie Mack. Bitcoin, Raven, all of these can be mined and produce a reasonable sum, and I'm going to use this, I'm not your financial advisor, I'm just a bald white guy, for about 2 more years. And we programmed we plotted these numbers so that at the end of 2 years you sell your gear for pennies, but still make a little off of it, because it's still good for gaming 2 years from now. It won't be the best, but you'll be able to make 10% on the dollar. You're still going to come out ahead of just buying Ethereum or buying Bitcoin if it rises. In all circumstances, but one, which would be very unusual. So that's a possibility. Are we mining experts? Nope. This would be something that if you got, between 10 to 30,000, you could do this. I strongly suggest you're a computer person and have some experience dealing with this, because all of this equipment you'll need to buy on eBay. You'll need to buy it used, because otherwise you won't cash flow. Don't buy any of this retail stuff they're offering you. It's way too much money, way overpriced. Everything you need is sitting on YouTube. That too. eBay. Sorry, eBay. Good Lord. Okay, any questions about the mining? Drop that in the chat box, Manisha. So multiple people can be approved and the cash go to the same company? Each person does not have to have a unique company? Yes! Yes! Welcome to corporate America. Everybody's panning corporate America. Boo, hiss, corporate America. That's because nobody thinks they can participate. Welcome to the 21st century. Y'all can. And all that boo and hissing that all the poor-minded folks are saying about corporate America, guess what? It's you now. Woo! You want to know why rich people is like, oh, we're going to tax the rich? No, they're not, because the rich don't make any money. Their companies do. That's why company taxes always go down. Good observation. You can tell I don't get excited about this. No questions. Daz, hit him with the vending bat.
Vending machines are like the 3 T's: tried, tested, and true. And I mean, so that's one key. As long as you got a credit card reader on these, you can get anywhere from $400 to $1,500 a month, easy per machine. And so they're easy to get, they're cost efficient, and it's really easy to outsource as well. So it's semi-passive and really hands off, and you can get anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on how many machines you have.
What do they need to know about, like, how to find places to put them?
Oh, so you can go to sam.gov, and they actually have places that have contracts that actually need vending machines.
Whoa, what?
Yep.
Sam.gov does that?
Yep.
In government facilities?
Yep.
No.
Yes.
That's it. I had no idea. I'm not like miking this up. I had no idea.
Yep.
That's incredible. Sam.gov, guys, by the way, Sam.gov used to be the place where you could get a dunce number for free. No more. That's dead. I just had somebody ask me that today. You said a Sam. I know, but they reserve the right to change their programs. Sam.gov is one of the most incredible assets for regular social slaves like us to access the power of government commerce in all kinds of ways. If you want your LLC to be eligible to do government contracts, which all of you should, you do it through sam.gov. It's incredible. And now we're finding out that they're going to help us with vending placement. Dude, such a no-brainer. Because check it out. if you have a vending machine, first of all, you put it out in front of a 7-Eleven or in a 7-Eleven, how much damage is that going to get? A lot, and you're going to pay for it. How much damage is it going to get sitting at a government IRS tax collection facility? Probably not a lot. Probably a lot of work too. A lot of people doing it too because they're all stressed out. They got to eat. Munch, man, munch. It's the same SAM.gov. That's what she's saying. Isn't that crazy? I think it's crazy. Some of you are like, boring. I'm amazed. You never cease to amaze me, Dazzle. Amazed.
I try.
You succeed. Some of you have been with me long enough to know what SAM.gov is, and you're like, I just found a business solution in SAM.gov. Amazing. All right, hit him with this bad.
All right, so Turo is man. Okay, so it's not even just the it's peer-to-peer car rentals period, because you have some that is like for professionals, more so like gig economy workers and people who are like on vacation where you have the potential increased potential of like damages happening. So I'm going to give you guys a hack when it comes to the peer-to-peer rentals. So you can get a smart car for 5,000 cash, boom, right? And then so the smart car actually has 3 panels on it that you can also, so you can monetize the smart car 4 ways. You can rent it out to Uber Eats, DoorDash drivers. On top of, you have the right side, the left side, and the rear of the car that you can wrap with the company logo advertisement. So that's 3 different businesses that you can sell each side of the car to while somebody else is driving it around to earn money as well.
You might have to say that again, just so people grasp what you just said.
The peer-to-peer rental it's basically you can earn from it 4 ways. You can earn from renting it to people who are doing DoorDash and Uber Eats. Then you have the right side that you can rent to a business for a monthly income. You have the left side that you can rent to a business for a monthly income. And then you have the rear that you can rent to a business for a monthly income. And so you have 4 ways that you can monetize the peer-to-peer rental market just on one car alone.
And that's not like, oh, well, who am I going to get to rent it? No, you create a relationship with your DoorDash folks. Like, I know a DoorDash dude right now. He would totally do this. Just because he's like, I don't want to drive my own car around. It costs me too much money. Well, probably cheaper to do Turo to this dude who's going to rent it for what, Daz, a month at a time?
Yep, it's a month at a time without having to worry about all that moving and picking it up and all that. It's rare, is with less hassle.
Way less hassle. It's their car for a month. Maybe you even broker it longer. I don't know. But that is incredible. And it's making money even if you don't have a DoorDash kind of connection because you've got the panels on the side and the back and people are paying you to do so. And tell them about the loan. That's the part that's, I'm always about leveraging. Tell them about this loan. Now, up here, I've got a $15,000 car, and we're saying 10% down, with all of this. Here's what it's going to cost you. Tell them about how the loan works.
So it's easy. Like you're literally having income coming in every day and you're actually going to be debt free in like 40 days from this method. So that's like the fastest ROI, and it will help you to continue to build your relationship to be able to scale to compound more funding, because it's really a minimum cost and you're like, again, you're debt free in 40 days. And that is dope. That is just with 4 cars too. So that we just talked about monetizing one car 4 ways. If you have 4 cars, how much, monetization is that? So that's just really low balling it, but it definitely has a lot of potential, and doesn't have a lot of getting started costs, which is dope.
Mm-hmm. And this infographic is only budgeting Turo of the car. It's not budgeting the other 3 ways. So that's cash on top of what's here. So low risk at 108,000 a year, make it 140 a year, right? Maybe even more. So explain the outlay. Great. So if you get a loan from Bank of America, which is it Bank of America, Daz?
It's Bank of America.
Okay. If it's Bank of America, You get 4 cars. That means you're out $1,500. Now, where did that come from? Your level 1 funding. Because let's say you only got $10,000. So, Carrie, I know you can do the math in your head. There's 1,500 times 4. It's $6,000. Low jack per car is 300, give or take. Let's call it, the installation of it. Let's call that another 1,200. Okay. Now you're done. That's your outlay. That's the cash required. Now I think Turo has a fee too, doesn't it? Something like that. To like your first startup. Well, I don't know. Daz would know. Then you're going to have to come up with your first month of insurance. So that's another $800. On top of that, you have let's say you got $10,000. You're going to spend, where am I at now? 7,500, something like that. So that's a 10% on 7,500 is another 750. So you're right around $8,700 out of your level 1 funding for 4 cars. This debt service is, let's see, the debt fee. Sorry, this window is right in the wrong place. Okay, this debt service is not the loan, your 0%. This is the loan that you're going to get from Bank of America on 4 cars. This debt service here is what you're going to be paying the 0% that you're going to get from us and our lender. Together, that's where we're getting these numbers from. But here's the thing. If you're starting to think outside the box, how long are we getting this 0% for? Well, between 12 and 22 months. And if all you got was 10 grand and you're like, okay, you just did 4 cars at 108,000 a year. You're debt free out of this number in 40 days. Does that mean you can't use your credit anymore? No. Because now you can do it again. Now, some of you know that Bank of America has is it a 4-car cap? Is that right? The loan? Daz, if you can hear me.
Say that again.
The loan option, the loan for the Bank of America, do they cap you at 4 cars?
Yeah, they cap you at 4 cars.
Great. So you're like, oh, I can't rent more. Who cares? Let's get this clear. How much is the cost of the car? 15 grand. You got 2 choices. Take your cash and buy some more yourself, which is probably not the greatest idea. Or you can also pay down the Bank of America loan a lot more than you have, so that instead of being out of debt, this debt here, you're out of debt with Bank of America in another 6. Or you put somebody else in your company. Remember, you're in a multi-member LLC. And then they can go borrow 4 cars. And you do the same thing with them that you did as if you were going to borrow their FICO to go get the level 1 funding from us. You give them a benefit. You give them their own. You see how this works? And they're like, oh, now I've only got 8 cars. Great. Get somebody else in there. Now you got 12 cars. How much are you making now? 300, 400 a year? Can you live? Can you and 3 other people live on that okay? I hope so. Maybe some of you are expensive folks, maybe. But that's how we leverage this. How much money did you have to put up? Well, first of all, none. And you were only given 10 grand as a potential credit output from our level 1. That's the power of doing this. Now, is this going to work this way every time? No, because there's ups and downs and repairs and marketing, and there's work to be done here. This is not the Shopify offer. The Shopify offer is a turnkey walk away. This is going to be a business for you. It may be full time. Don't kid yourself. There's no free lunch. Everybody understand? But the possibility for someone who's focused and has a plan is unlimited. Tanisha, so rent how many cars to Turo and how many DoorDash Uber Eats? Well, I mean, it doesn't even have to be Uber Eats. It could be Uber. It could be Lyft. These numbers reflect none of that. These numbers reflect, an average 20 days a month rental. So 10 days it's not rented. Pretty conservative. And are all these, again, none of these numbers reflect that, Tanisha. That would add to this. This is simply 20 days a month at income at $100 a day, plus your fees, the gas for positioning, the debt service on your Bank of America loan, your insurance per month, the low jack fee. That's what you're doing on 4 cars. Then add the debt service from what the level 1 funding got is required, and that's where you're at. You got it. Good question. Always question them numbers. I'm not going to go into depth onto this because I want to hear from you all. But this has been our fundamental plan for people who really have gotten 60, 70, 80, $90,000, where we go and move from level 1 funding into a level 2 funding. Oops, where we're using a season. We purchase a seasoned corporation for $35,000 to $40,000 that will grant us within 6 to 9 months $400,000 to $500,000 in regular credit, not 0%, but business credit. From there, we've spent the time to find the kind of real estate that we want to use, we want to find, and then we buy that with this credit combined with our level 1 credit and an equity line. Now, some of you are like, well, that's a lot of credit. That's some high debt service. Yes, it is. But we have a very specific plan to the kind of real estate that we must buy so that within, a year or to 18 months, you flip it, get out of it, cash up. A lot of cash up, between $300,000 and $800,000 in cash up, depending. That's the capital you're going to end up with, is what I mean, on this credit. Because we don't want to hold a property where everything is paid for by a loan, because eventually that loan will kind of catch up with you. You won't cash flow. It's too hard to cash flow. But to flip a large apartment complex, mobile home park, strip mall, one of these things is very, very valuable. And we have these videos to show you the math and the process on our YouTube channel. So that's what we have today. What we are working on for the future is additional Shopify and Amazon opportunities for smaller amounts. Now thank you, Des. Those amounts will require you to do a lot more work. You're not just going to be sitting there hands off. It's going to require you to do the business side, which some of you are up for. We don't have all the details, and so we don't want to bring it to you until we do. All right, that is what we have for you this evening, you all. Anybody excited? So now, with that said, put into the chat box which one you're most interested in of these here. It's the DeFi space, and at this point, you can put more than one if it makes sense. The Shopify, the mining, vending, Churro, and the big real estate. Churro, I got Churro for T. I'll remember that one. Who else? What else you got? Got the vending from Carrie Mack all day long. Churro and real estate. I like Churro real estate. That's cool. This is Churro real estate. Awesome. Crystal, Felicia, Barry, I know where you're at, brother. Freon. Love it. Mayumi, Russell, Tanisha, Vanessa. I see you hiding. Well, I think that's smart, Carrie, that we're all real estate fans at heart. It's just getting us there. Yeah, Alan. Alan's building an entire slum in Central America. He's going to be a slum lord. Tanisha, great, Crystal. Love it. I want Shopify until I get a company built out. Yeah, and that's exactly this is the whole point. We want to be cash flowing enough so that when we do buy the seasoned company, we're not sitting here waiting for 6 months paying. We're getting paid. Now, if you pull $110,000 from our level 1, which we've had somebody do, you probably can do this because you'll have so much capital to make the payments on the loans here that you might not need to. But there ain't no hurt in doing it, because if you did pull $110,000, you buy your seasoned company, maybe two, or you just buy one and use some of the others to do this stuff. It's a win-win. Vending too. Okay, awesome. Right, Markina, and thank you for your service. Any questions? You can hop off mute if you do. Go ahead.
Can you talk about the funding, like how they can get approved, with the 3 credit score thing, so they can know about that?
I surely can. Des, you want to take this?
Yep. So the moral of the story is we just got to get some passive income going. You can only work a certain amount of jobs. There's only a certain amount of hours in the day. but there's no limit to the amount of passive income streams that you can add to your arsenal. So we have some easy peasy requirements to get access to the funding, which is you're gonna just be able to go to 3 scores now. So wait, for me back up. You need a
sorry.
FICO score of 685 or better. You need corporate clean credit, so no dings, no foreclosures, none of that. You're gonna go to 3scoresnow.com. When you go to 3scoresnow.com, you're gonna pay $1. Just make sure that you cancel within the 7 days. You're gonna download your PDF of your FICO score. Yes, the PDF version. Don't do the HTML. You're gonna download that PDF version and you're gonna email it to funding@legacyascending.com. And in the body of that email, you're gonna put your name, address, phone number, and last four of your social. From there, it's gonna take us 72 hours or less to get you an answer. In the overall process, once accepted, can take as little as 2 weeks.
Yep.
But you do need, I do also that you do need a business bank account. This is a special program for business owners and entrepreneurs. So you cannot receive the funds to your personal account. You need to have a business bank account
And an EIN.
and an EIN number.
In fact, that will be found. So this is what you don't want to have. There we go. This is what I want to see. And an EIN, right. Basically, and a bank account with an EIN. And we're able to, once you're approved, that approval is only good for about 48 hours. And we can get you up and running with an LLC in the state of Wyoming in 24 hours if you don't have one. So don't worry if you're not like, how do I do that? Don't worry. And there's no reason to do it until you're approved because you might get denied, maybe, hopefully not. And then you got this LLC you don't know what to do with. Not that it's a bad idea to have one, but that's it. If I invited you on the call, please let me know if you apply. That's right. Well, we always ask people too, Monisha, who referred you. Because we also have a program, the affiliate program, and you just scroll up in the chat and you'll see all the affiliates that are here supporting us and supporting you, that they get a portion of anybody that they bring in, the credit, the real estate that they close, affiliate fees, Shopify store fees, all that stuff comes their way. Thank you, T. Good point. Anybody going to apply tomorrow? Put a 7 in the chat box if you're going to apply tomorrow so we can look out for you. Or if you're going to bring somebody who's going to apply on your behalf for your company. Either way, put that in the chat box so we can be looking out for you. This is no joke. This is not something that is like, oh, well, that's nice. Some of you have been on this call for 3 weeks, 4 weeks in a row, and have still not done anything. I can't tell you that this program is going to be here next week. I don't know. I've been waiting for this kind of program since 2009. Sure that it was going to happen. But it didn't because they kept dropping the interest rates. And if they drop interest rates, these programs dry up because the banks don't need to have loans on their books to make it look good because everybody wants a loan. But even yesterday, they raised the points 75 points, didn't they? November, we're going to see 125 points is what they're already saying, what he already said. Interest rates are going up, and loans are getting more and more difficult. So banks got to put them on their books, and they're willing to establish 0% funding and other funding to corporations.
And I will say this, like if you applied for business funding before, then you should be familiar with the fact that they want your financials and a minimum time in business. That's what makes us different. That's what we're being able to have the capital be easier to access because you don't have to have a minimum time in business and you don't have to have an income requirement, which is what prevents a lot of new business owners and entrepreneurs from getting access to funding.
Exactly what she said. Exactly what she said. So this is an opportunity. Is it likely that it'll continue? Yeah, I mean, as long as, Powell keeps raising the interest rates, probably. But you know how it goes. Somebody could misuse the system, as people do, dishonorable, and then they got to shut it down. I was a part of a program, and many of you were back in the mid-aughts, that was available from the IRS. And it was an incredible program. And then a bunch of people misused it, and they closed it. So they opened up other portals, which we've talked about. But this is an incredible opportunity. And if you have been, and we have been, Daz and I have been scraping every dark corner of possibilities in finance and corporate law and the Internal Revenue Code and just business in general to go, all right, how can everyone participate? Even the people that have like, oh gosh, I got a 580 credit. What am I going to do? I have a bankruptcy. I got 10 more years on this bankruptcy. I got an IRS tax lien. I can't sell real estate. We have, I think now, a way to get around every one of those considerations. As we just showed you with the beauty of having an LLC, you got to have one anyway to get your credit. Get somebody else in there that's got good credit. Make them a deal they can't refuse. Tell them you're going to back it up. Bring in a bunch of people. Become your own bank. We talk about it in crypto. It's sort of tomfoolery in that it's like, well, you're not really the bank. You're just putting your capital that's really your own cash into a thing and then lending it. Yeah, but this is not your capital. This is bank capital. And it is the most exciting opportunity that we have that I can think of, the opportunity of a generation. Crypto is also one, but imagine if you could trade crypto, which you can, with bank money. I say this, I don't have a single dollar of my own money in any market anywhere. Well, real estate notwithstanding, because I had to put a down payment on my house, yes. But beyond that, I don't have a single dollar. It's all bank money. The shorts that I made money on Tesla, SPY, Riot, Apple today, bank money. That's all it is. I don't want to put my money in the market because also the interest I'm paying and the interest you may end up paying is deductible if you're incorporated. And that's what banks are given the free pass to and why this exists. We don't want to pass this up. Do I see a hand? Is this me? Did I raise my hand again?
No, that's me.
Oh, IT.
Hi. I just wanted to say to y'all too is that if your credit is not good, with the 3 credit score, they will show you what's bad. And most times you don't get that. So they'll give you opportunity to show you how to get your credit built. And they also have programs that can help you. So it's still a win-win situation. Just have to do that 3 credit score and then see. Because
so Teresa, what you're saying, if I understand what you're saying is, so if I apply and I get denied,
yes,
they don't just send me the dumb letter. They actually tell me why and what I can do to fix it.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And is it also true that if I may have some issues with my credit, that they may actually have some solutions for me, the creditor or the lender?
Yes, they do. So this is why I like this program, because it's showing us how to have generational wealth, and some people have not had an opportunity to do that. And so, if I believe in this program, if I didn't, my ass would not be. My behind would not be on this call saying anything to you. I've seen that at work, and I've seen how it's changing people's lives. So you could sit back and don't let your life be changed, and you say, you know what? I was in that meeting, and they did not. I did not take that chance. Mm-hmm. And so we've been given a blessing to help us get generational wealth for us. So what you gonna do about it? That's all I got to say. What you gonna do with it? And I'm complete.
Whew. Teresa, the check's in the mail. That was amazing. That was amazing. So there's for those of you who are traders, and I want to address the fear, the fear of the scam. And some of you are in crypto. All we do sometimes is try to avoid scams. We seem like every email is another link that's going to take your Bored Ape away. And some of you have had that happen. It's terrifying. Some of you have been scammed out of thousands of dollars. I have been. I've been very lucky, but still been scammed out of thousands. And so is Daz. And we're trying to do what was never granted to us. Even when we were offered this program, we're trying to make it as no risk as possible, so that even if like you're like, I can't trust Mark and Daz, I can't trust Teresa, I can't trust Carrie Mack, I just can't bring myself, I just have a real significant paranoia. I understand, believe me. And fear is a mind killer, as they say in the Dune book. And it will keep us from the generational wealth. And it's important to acknowledge, I think, that banks have been stealing our money from us and making us afraid for 150 years. And that's important to acknowledge, because when we can acknowledge it, then we can say, this fear that's driving me to be afraid of a scam, to not trust a bank, which is the real scam artist, that the banks are the only people that are trustworthy. No, those are the only people that are scamming you every day, that are charging you to keep your money, which they leverage, and sometimes won't even let you get it out. How many of you have been to the bank and tried to withdraw a large cash sum and had them say, no, I can't do that right now? What? I should charge you.
But I know somebody it happened to recently. They were on fire.
Yeah. Don't try to withdraw $5,000 in cash. And then if you do, and they happen to have it in the vault, you should have called beforehand, but we happen to have it. What do they do then? Well, what are you going to do with this money? Shut up. My favorite one is, oh, are you on I just told somebody, oh, are you on vacation? I'm like, if I was on vacation, would I be here talking to you? I smile. And then she goes, oh, well, what I mean is, are you going to use this on a vacation? I'm pulling this out of a business account. What are they trying to do? Extort to show that I'm doing embezzling business funds for my personal use. First of all, it's none of your business. I didn't say that, but I kind of got there and laughed. This is what they want. Everything from you, and you paying for the privilege with a smile on your face. That's the scam artist. So anything that's other than that is going to seem scary, because we have been programmed that banks are the only trustworthy thing. FDIC insured. Do you know the FDIC only insures you up to $250,000 per account per bank? That means if you have two accounts with $250,000 at Bank of America and they both go down, they're only going to pay you $250,000, not $500,000. Ooh. And by the way, if there is a run on the bank, and there will be, probably in the next 12 months, mark my words, that insurance, that federally backed insurance thing ain't going to get you there. It ain't going to pay you anything. It'll pay the rich folks, the big companies who have corporate banking accounts, just like all of y'all will, but not the social slaves. They are out looking for handouts because they didn't take advantage of banks going, gosh, we need handouts right now. We don't have any loans. We need to get loans on the books so that by the end of the year, at least it looks good to us. And then maybe after the end of the year, we're going to shut this program down. But for now, we need to get loans. Our lender is saying we can process 100 loan applications a week. I just sent him an email. He was explaining something on how we do cash out. And I said, hey, we're getting that common stream coming. And you would expect a bank loan officer to say, oh, well, that's very nice. Make sure that they're approved and make sure they. He goes, yes, please keep sending them. That was the one email I got from our lender. Please keep sending them. They're desperate. It's our time to capitalize. It's okay to be afraid. Don't let your fear keep you from the generational wealth that you and your kin deserve. You don't have to go with Daz and I. We're just a couple of folks trying to help, trying to make our own way. We don't have any certifications. We do, but none that are SEC approved or federally approved. We're not a bank, but we do want to make you all the bank, just like we want to be the bank, and providing opportunity so that you can do the same for your community. Just imagine when you're doing $30,000 a month in whatever you choose, that you train not just your family, as important as that is, but visualize having classes in your home with your neighbors and your friends and your church. Imagine if you trained the members of your church to do this. How much less tithe sermons you would have to hear, y'all. We don't need tithe. We got money coming out of our ears. We're sending millions of dollars to Africa, to South America, to the inner city, because we have a storehouse full of grain that God has sent us. How does God send things? Through the saints. How do the saints receive it? Because they have knowledge. My people starve not because the government was bad, not because they didn't have the right raising, not because their parents were abusive. My people starve for lack of what? The Bible says. Put it in the chat box. People starve for lack of knowledge. Mayumi's correct. We're not the only knowledge in town. We just believe that what we have is so significant that it will change the scope of everybody who takes advantage of it. We didn't make this up. I was hoping for it for the last 13 years. It's now. I wish it could have been earlier. It isn't. We're taking advantage. I hope you do. Please reach out. Thank you, Kimberly. And if we can help you, we will do whatever we can to do so. If you need assistance with your credit, we have a program. There's a couple people on this call that are in that program having success. Sometimes it takes a little longer depending on what's gone on, but unless it's a bankruptcy, a tax lien, or a foreclosure, then we can almost certainly help you. Our lender has programs for people who have up to 50% use of their credit, which is bad, right? You want your credit usage under 30. But if it's below 50, they have a program that can actually help you still get the credit. It's a little more money, costs you a little more, but it's not going to cost you. It's going to go on your credit. And you get a tax write-off, which more than pays for the cost of it. Yep. So it's just 1% solution after 1% solution after 1% solution to 99% problems. And that's what we're doing. Not applying the knowledge. That's right. You can have the knowledge and not apply. That's right, Marquina. Well, hopefully that would never be said of Dazzle and myself. Last chance for questions. We will post this on our YouTube channel here in about, look for it in about an hour.
Can you explain, does this start at level 5 up to 1? I'm just looking at the percentages.
This is our affiliate program. I forgot I left this slide up. Sorry, I'm sure it's a boring slide. What it means is that you get paid 1% as an affiliate for everyone that you personally bring in for all their funding, all their closed real estate deals, and all their affiliate fees. If someone you bring in then has a real estate deal that's closed, you'll get 0.25% on that closed real estate deal, which means that if they close $1 million apartment, well, $1 million fiveplex, you just made $2,500 for not doing anything. If they bring in someone, and they close, you kind of see it?
Yep, I got it.
That's how it goes. Now the funding and the affiliate fees and the Shopify fees, I should put Shopify in here too, but it's not because I made this slide before we were doing Shopify. But you get 1% on all Shopify fees that we receive. And how that works is I think it's $25 for somebody you bring in that does a Shopify store up front, and then you get the 0.05 of their Shopify store revenues after they return on investment for the rest of their life. Which you're like, well, that doesn't sound like much. Yeah, well.
For the rest of your life, it does.
I'm telling you what, could you do $600 a month for the rest of your life? Would that be a problem for you? I don't think so.
Not at all.
Nope. For doing nothing except here, meet this guy. Here, meet that lady. Okay. Here, let me get you some funding. Oh, I got 1% on the $100,000 that you got. That's $1,000 in my pocket. I'm going to make $25 when you set up the Shopify, and I'm making $600 a month after that. Okay, give or take. That's what we're trying to do. Good question. Great question. Any other questions? We've been at this for an hour. I love you all madly. Reach out. Daz, anything else you want to add?
Blessings, good fortune, and may the profits forever be in your favor.
Thank you all.
Peace and blessing, and good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Let's get this money.
Yes, ma'am.